What's good, you guys? Alright, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you all the tricks I use to transform a crappy melody into a really nice one using just effects, just mixing. The main effect chain that I used to make a sound go from this to that, Guitar Rig 6. First time I popped on here was a halftime, but Guitar Rig 6 is the true secret to a vintage detuned melody. I kind of have my old custom preset for this. Basically, it stems from the tapified preset. Just turn off the bite right here. Then you want to click on this button right here, and then turn off the noise. Vintage preset right here. That's all it is. Next, I throw on a portal. Let's turn it up really high so you can hear what it's doing. Spreads everything out more and makes everything sound super dark. Volv Compressor 3, I always throw this on after everything, either this or you can just use a regular compressor. Just turn the threshold down until it sounds just the way you want it. I always use this compressor just because it sounds nice and vintage. Pretty parametric EQ2. Pay attention to the frequencies between 150 Hz and about 750 Hz. If your melody sounds muddy, remove some 300. It's almost always your 300. Kickstart too. You got to be using some kind of tempo adder. Use this preset right here and then move it all the way back. Basically, after you pile on all these vintage effects, it'll start to lag behind a little bit or sound a little bit offbeat. So you want to add that back with a kickstart too. Another way to do that is with a gross beat. This 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Sidechain preset. Move it all the way like right here. Do that for each one. And you want to put that on basically every sound you got. So yeah, that's the first sound right there. The only MIDI I really have is just this MIDI pattern right here. This side-by-side notes is the key to dark melody. Only thing I did was copy and paste this onto here, and I just removed every other note. So it's all just technically one pattern. And that was the analog key, no plucks given, from the Essence of Trap collection that we will be going over later. Super amazing kit. For the second sound here, the only difference I have in the chain is I added a reverb at the very end. And I also filtered it off like this. It sounds kind of muddy, soloed, but when you unmute everything, it sounds perfect. This is before. The only other difference here is the halftime, and this does lead us into our next trick here. There are some halftime tricks a lot of people don't know. One of them is this band right here. This green part is what the halftime is affecting, all right? Here's your high frequencies over here, and here's your low frequencies over here. So if I pull this back, that means the halftime is not affecting any of the high frequencies. So this is full halftime. This is just the low frequencies on the halftime. You can also automate this too. Go to Tools, Last Tweaked, create automation clip. When you do this, make sure to move the knob a little bit because that'll show up in your last tweaked. Another effect that people don't really know about is this knob right here. You turn it all the way up, you get like a nice swelling effect. If you turn it all the way to the left, you get like a really sharp sound. All right, next one here is our bass. Super simple bass right here. It's a corny bass, Essence of Trap collection. Every single sound here you see was from the Essence of Trap collection, FYI. So you can make any bass go from this to this. This preset is the Pulse Fattener right here. It's a preset I use all the time for making a really thick, wavy sounding bass. A sound shifter on your bass really helps spread it out and makes it sound absurd. Makes it sound all broken and spread out in your headset. All right, next up we got here is this pad. Basically, I just copied over the typical vintage preset we have here, except I added an EFX fragment at the very end. I use the Ocean Sweep preset, and what it does is it makes a really nice pad out of it. So this is what it sounds like before. The Bloodshot preset from the analog section, and this is after. Just turn the mix level down a little bit. This is before and after. After. All right, and to get that authentic live sound, because a lot of people want that jazzy kind of like vintage sound, the right percussion loop is really important. This is a live feeling from the essence of trap. And what you want to do is you want to stretch it out. Click here, and then you just want to stretch it out. Originally, it was like this. It has that nice stretch sound that we're looking for. And then simply just add an EQ right here to feather off the high end. And then a compressor. You can use any compressor, it doesn't matter what you use. I use the Valve compressor. Turn off everything else and just jam it. This is before. And after. Completely transforms it. All right, last two things I added were just these two accents right here. They're just from the Essence of Trap collection, the string phrase and the ceasefire. I'll go over all these in just a second, but yeah, just the same preset we always have. The Essence of Trap collection is an amazing trap suite that Prop by Jack made. Real analog synth sounds, live instruments, and then pedal sounds. Obviously real pedals. It's a really authentic kind of kit. We got the one shots right here, full of bass. Keys, plucks, pads for that authentic like Travis Scott, Mike Dean kind of sound. The phrases right here come in each section favorite part. And then obviously there are melody layers, and each section has these. And basically what you do is you take these and you drop them onto your melody. Good way to get rid of beat block. It's a great way to finish a melody if you're stuck and don't know what to do. We have the same thing also in these two sections. So we have the one shots. But the strongest part of this kit, in my opinion, are the phrases. Absolutely incredible. Melody layers too. And then the pedal sounds too. Basically, it's a bunch of sounds processed through guitar pedals. And then finally, there are some bonus folders that include Midi loops, percussion loops, starters, and then textures. So yeah, that is the essence of trap. You can use it to make melodies like I just made and then mix it with the techniques I showed you guys to create this final product. It's a master chain I use for everything. The sound shifter is essential. Whenever you pitch it up or down, it introduces artifacts like spreading it out on your headset, just kind of breaking the sound a little bit to make it sound more like it was like a sample as opposed to just kind of made in FL Studio. So this is before. This is after. Before. And after. Pitch it up one. Next, I add this virtual tape machine right here. All you gotta do is go into settings and then turn the bass alignment down to -3 because it often adds way too much bass. But this will really tie together that authentic tape sound that you want. Finally, for some up-down compression, I added MoTT. Just turn it down to 20%, and then you can use these bands to adjust the amount of lows and mids and highs. So for example, I always turn down the lows, turn down the mids just a little bit, and I boost the highs. This really balances the final product to make sure it's like not too much low end or not too much high end or something like that. It glues it together. Midi frequencies are between 150 and about 750. So I want to reduce some 300, some 500, and some 150. And then to scan for unwanted frequencies, what you want to do is just grab and then make it look like this, and do this with this knob right here. And you want to scan back and forth until you find something that's a lot louder than everything else. Boom, right there. Basically just a harsh frequency that's louder than all the other frequencies, like way louder. If it's a little bit louder, that's okay. But if it's way louder, you want to just kind of like reduce it just a little bit. All right, the very last thing we're gonna go over here is how to properly stem out your samples. There are two ways you could do it. One is you can just duplicate it 3 times, okay? You wanna make 4 different sections. One is the main section. Second is a section without your accents or without your lead sound. So if your lead sound is a violin, you remove the violin. So now you have this right here. Then the second part after that, you're gonna wanna remove more. So remove the accents, and let's remove the second layer and then the other accents. For the last part, you want to take out the body sound, leave all the other stuff. Finally, just grab all of this, copy and paste it, and then remove the bass. A copy of it with the bass and a copy of it without the bass. This is a really good way to make sure people don't steal your stems, for example. But if you want to give people using your loops full creative control, let's start over. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sections. I'm going to count these as 1 since it's kind of the same accent. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then start removing each of these. So now you've got like a section for each sound. Then what you're going to want to do is skip a beat. So now we're on 9, move to 11, 19, 20, 21. All right, so essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Here's how we're gonna name them. No reason to add BPM because obviously we know 140 means BPM, the key, and then your Instagram app. That's how I always name my loops. So yeah, last thing I did was just throw on some drums. Not gonna really break these down, but yeah, if you do want me to break these down, let me know and I'll do a drill tutorial.